So the great thing about dual enrollment is that the first 30 credit hours that student takes are completely free.
But if I could give any words of wisdom to any other parent, it would be if your child is ready and is interested and wants to do this, the sooner the better, because I think people need to take advantage of the credits earned and the money saved and the time.
Dual enrollment was really helpful for me because it took me one step outside of my sheltered bubble when I still had the support of my family and my church and people that I already knew to fall back on.
So I know of a lot of students that have gained their associate's degree before they graduate from high school.
98.7 Chatt Tech, where 98.7% of our students earn a career. On today's episode, we're going to look at the dual enrollment program. This is where your student can earn college credits while they're still in high school. They can get a head start on college and still participate in activities at their high school while you get to enjoy watching your child grow and mature. Plus, let's be honest, you'll save a lot of money. We'll get to those details later in the podcast. First, let's hear from a couple of parents with children in the dual enrollment program at Chatt Tech.
So my name is Jennifer. My daughter, Lauren, is a dual enrollment student at Chattahoochee Tech. She has been dual enrolling for 2 years, so her junior and senior year of high school. And I'm in education as well, so we were really excited about the dual enrollment program. And I saw an opportunity for my daughter to open up her schedule a little bit. As a typical high school student, an 8-hour school day plus her extracurriculars, which she was really involved with studio dance, extracurriculars from that perspective. She was busy all the time. And so I thought, well, a dual enrollment schedule would be better for her because she would have a lot more time to focus on things she enjoys while balancing her education.
My name is Michelle Bush, and my son did the dual enrollment program last year, his senior year while in high school. I saw my son grow and flourish. He became a mature, responsible young man in this experience. He got a jump start on college early. He learned how to navigate that process on his own. Didn't have to do as much as I thought I would have to do as I did with my daughter, who did not do dual enrollment, who went straight from high school to college. And I had to do a lot more parenting and navigating. Also, when doing my research and looking at it, the proximity of Chattahoochee Tech, when he found out that he could take classes 3 miles down the road at the Mountain View campus or 8 miles down the road at Woodstock, that appeased him versus some of the larger colleges that we looked at where he was driving farther to a larger campus. We had, choices in our backyard, and that was exciting.
Exciting indeed. So what about the extracurricular activities? How does that fit into the schedule?
My son ran cross country in high school and also played tennis. And at the time he took his dual enrollment classes, nothing really crossed over or interfered. He had cross country practice before school, as well as his tennis was after school. And the way we scheduled his classes, they were all during his actual school day between 8 and 3:30. So it worked out perfect that he could do his before school activities, go to classes at high school as well as at college, and then come back after school and participate in his after school. So nothing really crossed over that impacted either his education or his activities.
My name is Lauren Gibbs. I'm a dual enrollment student at Chatt Tech, and I also go to Etowah High School. I'm a senior this year. And when I graduate with my high school diploma, I will also graduate with an associate's degree at Chatt Tech. So in high school, I did dance team at my high school, and I also did studio dance. So my schedule was we would have to wake up at like 5 a.m. and then have practice from like 6 o'clock, 6:30, all the way to 8:15. And then right after that, we would have to go to classes from 8:15 to 3:15, and it was like 7 periods of classes. And then right after that, I would come home, probably had like an hour to eat, and then I would have to leave to go to studio dance. And I was there for about 3 to 4 hours, and then I would come home and then have to like do all my homework for all those different 7 periods of class that I had for the next day, or like study for a test the next day. Like overall very crammed, very I was rushed a lot and all that, and I was extremely tired. But after I did dual enrollment, I was nervous that I wouldn't be as connected with my friends from high school or dance team at the high school, but that was not the case at all.
Okay. Your student can easily manage the schedule so they can still participate in the extracurriculars, but how exactly does this all work?
Yeah, so my name is Maggie Trimble, and I am the Student Outreach and Recruitment Coordinator here at Chattahoochee Technical College. And my job is to just make sure that students are aware of all of the great opportunities that we offer. The dual enrollment program, it allows qualified high school students the opportunity to maximize their education and career training by taking courses that earn college and high school credit at the same time. And students must be enrolled in 10th, 11th, or 12th grade in a public or private high school or a homeschool program in the state of Georgia. Students are super prepared after taking college classes with us, and this gets students a jump start in their college career. And they're getting a jump start and gaining this experience while they still have kind of the safety nets of the high school. They're still living at home. They have a little bit of some safety nets there. And it really gets them a head start in college. So if they're trying to go to a 4-year university, this can really knock off their first year of college classes, for example. Or if they're wanting to go the more technical route and get one of our associate's degrees, this can really put them ahead, as it only takes 2 years to get one of our associate's degrees.
I'm Janelle Reese. I'm a senior in high school. I've been dual enrolling at Chatt Tech since 10th grade, and I am graduating with a drafting degree this spring. Dual enrollment was really helpful for me because it took me one step outside of my sheltered bubble when I still had the support of my family and my church and people that I already knew to fall back on. So I think for parents, I could really see the benefit of putting your kid in dual enrollment so that you can be with them when they're experiencing the outside world instead of them just graduating high school, maybe going to a different state, and being completely surrounded by a new environment. So there's still a little bit of a controlled comfort while you're in high school, but still being exposed to college students and teachers and material.
Yeah, a lot of the parents have concerns with, is my student ready, or are they going to have the necessary support for my high school student because they can start as early as 10th grade. So we definitely let students and parents know that they're going to be supported. So from the very get-go, when they're accepted, we send them an acceptance email that gives them directions on how to sign up for one of our new student orientations. And that's where we go over the whole process with these students. And then they can also get assistance registering for classes. And then once they're a student, they have access to everything regular students do. So they can get, access to our free tutoring services, our libraries. And again, they can always reach out to us. So I would say that's the most concern, is that parents are just not sure how they'll be supported, but they definitely will be.
I've seen some parents who will come with their kids. My parents just dropped me off, but some parents, there's a student center you can wait in, and people will probably think you're a student. You're not gonna stick out that much. So if you're concerned for your kid, as you probably should be, then stick around, stay around, ask your kid what you're doing in class.
Chatt Tech offers students and parents plenty of help, support, and guidance during the entire dual enrollment process. But let's talk about the elephant in the room. That's not necessary. It's time to talk about money. Michelle has firsthand experience.
In talking about funding for the dual enrollment program, we paid nothing. The courses that he took were all academic courses. So where there were no outside fees or supplies to purchase. And the dual enrollment funding through the state covered the classes that he took through this program. So we as a family, did not put any money towards the classes that he took through dual enrollment at Chattahoochee Tech.
Maggie can expound on this a little further.
Yeah, so the great thing about dual enrollment is that the first 30 credit hours that student takes are completely free. So there's no real cost associated with dual enrollment, so that is part of the great thing about it. And the first 30 credit hours, that's usually about 10 classes. That's usually at least the first year of college. And so they do not have to pay for tuition or fees or books. Those are all free. The only thing students may have to pay for is they're really interested in one of our programs like welding and need some kind of special supplies like steel-toed boots or something like that, that they would have to buy. But as far as tuition fees and books, those are all covered for the first 30 hours. And then after that, depending on what classes they're taking, they can also start getting financial aid a little bit early.
But somebody is paying for this program, right?
Yes. So the state of Georgia actually pays for these students to take classes to get a head start on college classes. And basically what students do to make sure that they get those classes paid for by the state of Georgia is part of our admissions process. They have to do an application through something called Georgia Futures. And basically they do that application for the school year. Their high school counselor can see it as well as we. And once they register for classes, their high school or their homeschool official will approve the classes. So we both approve it on our end, and then it's sent to Georgia Student Finance, who would fit the bill.
Is your student the right fit for the dual enrollment program at Chatt Tech? Don't answer too quickly.
The really great thing about Chattahoochee Tech is that it's meant for a lot of different types of students. And, you know, your student might be a little bit better at something that's more hands-on. So if your student is very interested in a certain program, especially, or they may not excel traditionally in the classroom, but they're really good at working on cars, or they are very good with computers. You know, this is a great chance for them to even just start out and take a few classes and take maybe a welding class or a computer programming class. It's really great for exploration too, just kind of see what they're wanting to do, their aptitude for things. And that's a good starting point. They don't necessarily have to take English and math and psychology with us. They can come to our college and take a animation course or something that they actually have interest in. And typically, if students are more interested, they tend to be more motivated. And again, they always have that support.
Are you still on the fence? You want to talk to your student about the idea? There's an episode of this podcast just for them. You can find it, along with much more information, at chattahoocheetech.edu/dual enrollment. Or just Google Chatt Tech dual enrollment and you'll find us.
I've encountered several parents who have asked me about dual enrollment. Mine is always on a positive note because my son had such a positive experience. I tell them that it was a growing experience. It gets a jump start on college, whether it be for your student to get that college experience early and all those credits under your belt, but also for the parent. It saves money. It saves time. I remember my son telling me after his year experience of doing dual enrollment at the very end, he flat out told me that he regretted that he did not do dual enrollment his junior and senior year. And I look back now, of course, we don't have any regrets at all. But if I could give any words of wisdom to any other parent, it would be if your child is ready and is interested and wants to do this, the sooner the better. Because I think people need to take advantage of the credits earned and the money saved and the time. Because I look at him now as a freshman in college, he's repeating courses that he could have done through dual enrollment. So it's a great opportunity. And if I could give any words of wisdom is start as soon as you can.
Aside from the normal things that you would expect, maturity, growth, it's really changed her attitude. She's more sure of herself. It's given her confidence. It has it's opened her mind, which is an important aspect of college that we probably just tend to not think about. But it's opened her mind to a more global perspective, which makes her a more fun person to be around. And it's interesting. She's interested in the world, but she's also just happier in general, because some of the stress level has been taken away. I think that while, yes, these classes did force her to become a little bit more self-driven, they also were refreshing, and not the same old thing that she'd been doing. And it wasn't redundant, and it wasn't sitting in a desk from 8 a.m. to 3:15 p.m. and then having to rush home to eat and then have just a few hours before homework to do the things that she loved. So it's just really opened her up to, she's just less stressed and she's happier.
So I know of a lot of students that have gained their associate's degree before they graduate from high school. So, and usually it's shortly before, but they receive that, a week or two before they graduate high school. So, and they can walk in our ceremony as well. And a lot of them do. So we have students that have gotten associate's degrees in, all of our programs really, besides some of the health science ones that they're not allowed to do yet. But we have a ton that have gotten, associates in business management, criminal justice, drafting, welding, all of these different programs. And a lot of them get, depending on what they want to do and what their program is, they can get a job right out of high school. They can continue on to a 4-year degree. We have a lot of students that get their associate's degree and they can apply that to a 4-year degree. But then we also have students that, as a 18-year-old, are getting a diploma or an associate's degree in something like diesel equipment technology or welding or drafting, and they're getting a job right out of high school, making, a good bit of money for 18-year-olds. They can get entry-level jobs making in the $40,000 range a year. So being able to do that at a young age has been really inspiring to see. But we have students that just go all different routes. Like I said, like they can get these kinds of programs where they can get a job immediately, or we have students that plan to go on to large 4-year universities like University of Georgia, Georgia Tech. We even have a student that's really wanting to. I don't know if he's been accepted yet, but it's one of our other coordinator students, but MIT he has sights on.
Get online and learn more about the Dual Enrollment program at chattahoocheetech.edu.
This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group. Darren Sutherland, Executive Producer. Jeremy Powell, Creative Director. Jacob Sutherland, Director. Producers Jason Gentarola and Matt Golden. And Kezia May, Copywriter. All rights reserved.